metal-heads.de.
Okay, the metalheads. We're in Cologne at the Blue Shell. With me are two guys of the wild, and yeah, thanks for having me. And cheers.
We didn't get him a beer.
Do you want a beer?
Oh, of course, beer is always fine. We start talking, and
Will we come back with a beer?
Yeah,
you come back with a beer.
Oh, you got it.
Okay, Sweden, Muscle Rock.
Yeah.
Yesterday a castle.
Yes.
Today a small club.
Awesome.
It's hell of a ride.
I love it all. You know, we've always said that we're one of those bands that we play the same no matter where we are. So whether we're at Sweden Rock Festival outside of a castle in Gifhorn, or today in Cologne at the Blue Shell in a small club, it's all part of the process. It's all part of the whole thing, and I love it all because each moment and each experience is different. So every night can be every show can be something completely different based off of the room you're in, based off of the people that are there, and what you're giving out and what they're giving back. So sometimes I'll admit these smaller shows actually tend to be or can be a lot funner because everybody's all packed together. Oh, here you go. Here's a beer.
Ah, thank you.
Prost. But yeah, no, everything in these smaller clubs can be really great because everybody's just so packed in and it's hot and it's sweaty, and it reminds me and the band of the early days in Canada when we were starting and playing smaller rooms like this. And you've got something to prove when you're in a small room. And now that Europe is still developing for us and growing, we'll play a small club like this all the time. It doesn't matter. Any opportunity is a great opportunity as long as we're playing rock and roll.
And you don't like the easy way, because you know what day it is. Today is also Rock am Ring, really big festival, Sound of Revolution in Netherlands, and
Come on.
so yeah, it's hard to get the people today here in Cologne.
Yeah. We did it though. We got some people coming out, don't we?
Yeah, I heard 50 sales.
Perfect. That's just perfect amount for me.
A club this small, that'll feel great.
Okay, as I already told you, 4 months ago I saw the Lazies here,
Yes.
an Canada-based Australian band.
Yeah.
I know the guys too, and
Of course.
they rocked the stage here. And will you do better?
That's an interesting question because we've toured together a lot, and we've played together a lot over the years. This is going back. I think when we first met was probably 2015. And with our bands, it's always been sort of like a friendly competition, which is why every night on the road together makes so much sense for people who buy the ticket to come see the show, because we love those guys, they love us, we're great friends, but playing neck and neck with each other like that every night only makes the show better. We'd go up and just watching them have played, and then you're watching your friends, and I could come back to the dressing room and say, well, they're fucking killing it tonight, so we better bring it, and then we'd go up and then they'd be watching us, and I know damn well Leon would go back and say to Maddie and the guys, and they're fucking bringing it tonight, so we better fucking do it. And that is how that's nothing wrong with that. That's positive. That kind of shit makes the fans that come to see the rock and roll shows that we need in this day and age happy, and they go home and they tell their friends and they say, oh my God, that show was amazing. So whoever does it better, it's kind of irrelevant because we just both are striving to be the best we can be every night. And so cheers to the Lazies. Love you guys.
Cheers, Lazies.
I, on the other hand, don't know them that well, so I'm going to say that we are going to be better than them tonight. I've met you once. I can say this.
They played a show on German television. Sorry? Did you see it? They played a show on German television. No, Rock Palace.
I didn't see it.
It was a live stream.
Oh, yeah? I did not see it.
I think you can see it already. It was great. And Okay, you released a single, Hell of a Ride.
Yes.
And what about a new album? I can't wait for it.
You know, neither can we really. Neither could we. So hopefully when we have one ready, we will, you know, be able to sit and listen to it and enjoy it and share it with everybody else. But for now, you know, it's Hell of a Ride. It's all about that single, and it's doing really well. It's upon release, if you look at numbers, if you want to talk about that, it's the biggest song, had the biggest introduction to the streaming platform on Apple Music, Spotify, and all those sorts of things, YouTube. The biggest numbers out of the gate. So it's, you know, could be that we're a bigger band now than we were when we released that other music, but it's killing it. It's doing really, really well. And I think 50,000 streams on Spotify in the first month. So we were really happy about that. You know, it's doing well. People are loving it.
Yep. And you're on the top 30 of our Berlin radio show.
Number 23 right now, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that blew my mind personally. That's a huge accomplishment for us. So I couldn't be happier. Everyone's been voting for us every day, and it's just got a good fan base out there for sure.
It's cool. It's cool to see that radio has a platform that their chart is dictated by fans voting. I think that's fucking awesome because that doesn't exist really anywhere else. Not that I know of. So the fact that they say, okay, here's the chart. What do the fans want to hear? And they give a big list of bands, and then, you know, fans can go and say, I want to hear this band, I want to hear this band, I want to hear this band. I mean, that's really what it should be like. More freedom for the for radio to decide. Like I've heard so many stories about how it used to be in the 70s, and a DJ would say, go to a club and hear a cool new rock band, and then say, hey, give me your CD, I work in the radio, or give me your record, I work in radio, I'm going to play it. You know, and then they go and they say, everybody listen to this band. And then fans go, who's that new band? And then that band gets bigger and bigger. That sort of thing doesn't really exist, at least too much in North American, well, at all in North American radio. So to have something more user-friendly or that's more geared towards the fans' choice here in Europe, in Germany specifically, it's really fucking cool.
We're having a good fan base here. You started on 30 and now we are 23.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. I honestly didn't see it coming. Like, not that I don't believe in our band, but that was just a huge accomplishment for us, and it's nuts. Yeah.
Perhaps because you were on a German television advertisement last year.
Yeah, yeah, Radio Bob, different radio station. And we played Kieler Woche. Is that how you say it? Close. Kieler Woche. It was like in Kiel, Germany.
Kieler Woche. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like what I said.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And we played their event, Radio Bob's event in Kiel last year, and it was really great. And everyone from the station really liked us. And I remember I woke up in the morning and somebody had tagged me on something on Facebook and said, "Did you know you're in this commercial?" And I was like, "What?" And then I watched it, and it's super funny because for everybody that hasn't seen it, it starts off with like a rock and roll dude having cereal in the morning, and he doesn't have any milk, so he pours beer into his cereal and has a nice glass of beerial, and then he goes into his head of what he's thinking, and he's listening to all these rock bands because the radio's turned up. It's Radio Bob, of course, and one of those bands that are in his imagination is The Wilds. So pretty cool. So shout out to Radio Bob.
Radio Bob?
Yeah.
Okay, you're playing festivals, castles, clubs, and doing a support tour with a really legendary band from Australia.
Yep. Second tour with them.
Yeah, second tour, yeah.
Yeah, second tour with them. Love them. Those guys have been so good to us, you know. They're, I've said it a lot, and I couldn't continue to be more true, is that band, the sound that they created in 76 when they started, is nothing short of like incredibly influential on our band. You know, a lot of people obviously so very quick to ACDC, go to ACDC when you think about Australian that sound of Australian pub rock. And of course, we love AC/DC, and also one of our favorite bands. But Rose Tattoo just has and had both, you know, in current time and in original form of the band and lineup when they first came out with the first record. They have this thing about them that's, you know, it's different than AC/DC. To some people, they'd say, oh, it sounds like Australian pub rock. Sure, it does. But they've got something else about them. There's the scope of the lyrics were a little bit more geared towards the outlaw side of life, and you know, personal battles fought with things, and just a little bit of a darker, more real and rough side of life that, you know, I've always gravitated towards and understood and can relate to. And so for me, you know, the stuff that Angry sings about and the songs they write as a band and the sound that they have, it just got something about it that I just, to me, just go, this is it. This is it. This is the sound. So, you know, to be friends with those guys now and them take us out on a second tour again in Europe and treat us as well as they do and look out for us and give us advice, and, you know, we stay in contact with them when we're not on the road and talk to them and, what are you guys doing? How's it going? How's everything been? And, you know, we're going to see you soon. And they're, you know, they're friends. They're kind of like, in a way, like, you know, I don't want to say older brothers, but like almost like uncles. That like your older uncle that's watched you do something good and now says, he gives you the pat on the back, says, come back again, let's do it again. And for me, that's, you know, such an honor because I love that band so much and I've always loved them. And yeah, so yeah, it's an honor to know them, and it's an honor to have shared the stage with them, and now to do it again it's wonderful. So cheers to Rose Tattoo.
Cheers to Rose Tattoo.
A lot of Australian bands.
More beers soon.
Yeah.
Cheers.
A lot of Australian bands that were.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know Stonefield?
No.
It's four sisters playing the 70s rock.
Oh, cool.
They
I
were
love
from Australia. So
I love females in rock. I do, because it's something that, for whatever reason, the industry kind of, radio especially, they have this thing. I don't know why, but I've always been told that there's this thing against female-fronted bands. But I am a sucker for a female voice in rock music. Joan Jett, you know, she had this thing always. It's like right walking that line of rock and roll and punk rock, and like, to me, it doesn't really get any better than that. And then you go back farther to Janis Joplin, and like, there's so many greats I could list. But for me, I'd love to hear that there's women in bands in rock and roll. Thunder Mother's another cool band. Yeah. You know, really recently made friends with those girls and the Full Metal Cruise, and they're fucking awesome. They fucking rock just as hard, if not harder, than a ton of bands that I know that are dudes, and they do it, man. And it's just, yeah, it's all good. So cheers to Thunder Mother.
Cheers to Thunder Mother.
Yeah.
I'm just here for the cheers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, no, I'd like to come back to the uncle-nephew tour.
Okay.
Rose Tattoo are really old.
Sorry?
Rose Tattoo are really old.
Yeah.
We're old guys. Can you imagine rocking the stage at their age?
Oh man, I don't know if I'd be alive at their age. Just kidding. No, I can't. I actually haven't met Rose Tattoo yet. I wasn't part of this band when they did the first tour, but I do love Rose Tattoo, and I've seen them play. I've seen videos of them playing with the Wild and whatnot. And man, how old are they? Do you know? Do you know how old they are?
I do, but I won't say on camera.
I guess, yeah, you don't want to do that. Don't. You can look it up on Wikipedia, I guess. No, but like I hope I'm still playing when I'm that age. Like I won't ever stop. Even if for some reason I'm playing in a dingy bar in a cover band when I'm 70 years old, that's fine. You know, I just got to keep playing. That's all.
I think the fact that they're able to have sustained a career this long speaks for itself. You know, that just doesn't really. You've got to have the catalog. Really, it comes down to the music, and they've got the fucking songs. The band has remarkable songs. I could talk about that, you know, all day, because they are well written songs.
Okay, what's your favorite song?
Oh man, I go to the first record always because I really love One of the Boys, and I think there's just something about that song that just it makes me want to just start drinking and just like start fucking rocking and rolling, man. Like it feels like you want to get your buddies together and just have a good time. But I mean, there's so many on that record, and there's so many other ones too. Even the later stuff that like they were playing a bunch of stuff off Scarred for Life on the last tour, killer record. And yeah, I don't know, man. They got a lot, but I'll say One of the Boys for this one. Yeah.
Good choice. And you?
Nice Boys. Yeah.
Nice boys don't play rock and roll.
They sure don't. I'm a nice guy. Just kidding. No, we like to cover that song in some of our sets too. So it's become one of my favorite Rose Tattoo songs now. It's 'cause we get to play it every night. Yeah. That's a blast.
Yeah, it's a fun one to throw in the set. Oh, yeah. We can do it. Yeah. We'll play it tonight.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Okay, I'm getting us there. Time is running low. Okay, let's talk about your influences. Sure. Perhaps beside rock music or metal music, some strange influences, perhaps?
Yeah, I think like I'm really influenced just by my own life and some of the things that I've done. I haven't really lived as a normal life by other people's standards. You know, I've done a lot of things that a lot of people have never done, and walked a certain path that I don't think like is considered normal. And that in itself has always brought me back to thinking about, well, what's the common thread in all our songs? You know, as a young songwriter, when I was writing songs, and I was thinking, what do I really want to say? And what is my message, you know? And it always comes down to personal freedom and just being true to yourself and wanting to just not be held down by things that I feel a lot of people are concerned with. You know, I can't do this because of that. I can't do this because of that. And I'm not saying that you got to run around breaking the law and be an asshole to people. It's not about that. But when you actually let go of all the things that, you know, you're worried about, and you start making choices that allow you to feel free, that's when you can really enjoy life. And that's where there's a lot of magic in life, and you can just feel like nothing can hold you down. And that's a really, really strong, empowering feeling. So, you know, that, and often movies, you know, you ever get that? Like you listen to music all the fucking time, and you think, okay, this guy influenced me, that singing style, that whatever. But then like you watch a really good movie or a documentary about something that blows your mind. So for me, a lot of that stuff was like crime, a lot of crime stuff, you know, gangsters in the 20s and stuff like that. And just how different times were in general and how different people were. So I get into all that, you know, that'll always get me fired up, get the wheels turning.
Maybe some Western films, a little True Grit, maybe something like that. I'm not a songwriter. I just play the drums, so I just try and look cool and hit things as hard as I can, man. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay, I have two things. You changed your style, not music style, but clothing.
Yeah.
For me, doesn't matter. You could play naked. I don't care. Oh. The music is what matters. So. But for some people, it's important.
Yeah. You know, it was a big thing for some people, and most of the fans didn't really care or say much, which is cool because, you know, it's nice to see that they support you no matter what. But it's just, I've said it before, I'll say it again until people stop asking us about it. But it doesn't matter what we wear. It really doesn't. It's about the music, and it's about the four guys together playing that music and the feeling that we get and give off from playing that music and writing that music. So, you know, what we look like, what we don't look like, whether it's this or it's that, if you like the music, then who gives a shit? You know, it doesn't fucking matter. It never mattered in the sense of it was this or it wasn't that, and it was our old vests and now it's not. But, you know, how that whole ideology of the Wild being a gang, a rock and roll gang and a club and all of that, it's still within us. It's never not left. You know, it's never left. It's always been that way, and we're still the same crew, just doing it a little different. And you never know what you might see or might not see again because of it, because we have been known to do things our own way and play tricks here and there and, you know, bring things back. And, you know, so it's become less of a thing. Really what it was is we started to do this years ago. And then all of a sudden we seen a lot of bands doing it. And I know we weren't the first to do it. I'm not saying that, but we did start to see a lot of bands do it as well. And then you start to kind of get lumped into being one of those bands that, oh, you're one of those bands that wears vests. And for me, when a lot of people start doing the same thing that I've did it or made popular, for, you know, maybe lack of a better word here or term, I start to lose interest. And not to also forget to mention, a lot of the bands that I saw doing it weren't very good. and you know, I was just like, so if seeing a band wear a vest makes you a shitty band, I don't want to be a shitty band. So, with the exception of Black Label Society, of course. But, you know, yeah, hey, but yeah, it doesn't matter, man. We're a rock and roll band. We're four guys playing rock and roll, and we always will be, no matter what we're wearing. But if we start looking like idiots, I mean, you can go ahead and say something.
Okay. No, I won't say so. Last point. I'm dreaming of a Canadian Big Four tour.
Okay. Who do you got?
Yep. You, the Lazies,
Yep.
Monster Truck, and perhaps, well, I like Uncle Jones, but well, I saw the Standstills.
Yeah.
They're great too.
Oh yeah.
Why aren't you doing it?
Why aren't we doing the Big Four tour?
Yeah.
Well, just talk to him about that. Clearly.
I mean, okay, first of all, that would be a great tour, right? That would be, everybody knows, but the logistics in making something like that happen are probably harder than most people think. However, I will say as an open discussion or an open invitation to all of those bands, which all of them are our friends, of course. Of course, we would love to do it. And you know what? Like, it might just be someone like you mentioning it that actually puts something, wheels into motion. The other thing too that makes it really hard is, you know, speaking to the logistics thing, is all of us bands are active and moving here, there, and everywhere. So if we were all in the same, you know, country for longer than, you know, a month or two or whatever it is, it's hard to make happen because everybody's always doing this and doing that, or they have plans to do something later, so it's tough to set something like that up. But what I do know is if we did it, there would be a lot of people that came to those shows.
Of course.
So cheers to Monster Truck, Standstills, the Lazies a second time, those fucking bastards, and cheers to us.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm empty. So that's it.
Okay, we are finished.
Awesome.
Cheers to us.
Later.
Metal-heads.de